Hey everyone, thanks again for tuning in. In today's video we're going to take a look at a really interesting collaborative project here between Liong Mah, Reate, Alan Folts, and Shane Sibert. So, pretty cool project, but if you guys have heard of the name Liong Mah, he has been a knife designer of some time now, typically known for his collaborations with custom makers. And in the last year or two here, he has been doing some really cool collaborations with Reate knives of China. If you guys have seen my videos, you know that I'm definitely a fan of Reate knives. I've had just about every one from the in-house brand and some other ones as well. Anyways, really good fit, finish, and quality from Reate. Really cool designs from Liong Mah. And then this project takes it a step further. So we'll go into the specs, overall impressions, and then we'll talk about the project itself, kind of what it represents and where it's going from here. So this is what it ships with, kind of a zipper pouch. Then it comes with a card here. Now this one that I have in front of me, I believe it was the first one completed of just a series of only 10. So the actual ones when they ship out might have a few things different, but I just want to share with you guys the knife, as they are going to be going on sale very, very soon. By the time I upload this video, it might be the next day. So if you're not following Liong Mah on Instagram, I would definitely recommend that if you do want to get your hands on one of these knives. So anyways, let's jump into the specs real quick. So again, based on the Remedy model, we got a blade length of just about 3.75 inches, handle length of about 4.625, overall length of about 8.3 or so. Now this is S35VN blade steel, done in a modified tanto of sorts here, and it has been given a really nice hollow grind. Now the handle, of course, titanium. Stainless steel lock insert. This one does weigh in at 5.45 ounces, and it is tip up right hand only for the pocket clip here. So yeah, so I guess those are the specs for the most part. Again, you can find the specs on the standard Remedy, a lot of different places that sell them. Overall impressions, really cool project here between quite a few different people involved in this one. I really like what this represents and where this can go as far as a really high quality production knife that has been given a really special hand ground blade from a really top tier maker. So, you know, the name Shane Sibert is definitely no stranger to my channel when I talk about makers whose work is very in demand but extremely hard to get. I think Mr. Sibert definitely encompasses that genre of makers. So again, there's only going to be 10 of these offered. So you know, there are the standard Remedies out there that you can absolutely find that have I believe it's a flat stonewash blade. Really high quality, really cool knife nonetheless, and this one just takes it a step further. So I really like this. I think it's a fun idea. Takes a really nice production knife and takes it to the next level. So in terms of a mid-tech, you know, a knife that has actually had handwork by either the maker or a maker of some rapport, I think this exemplifies that. So anyways, hopefully you're getting the kind of the idea of my overall impressions here. Let's get into the details on this particular knife. So let's just start out with the blade, as this is kind of the coup de grace of this knife. So hand ground blade by Shane Sibert. There's his logo, Liong Mah's logo, and does have the S35VN designation right there. So really cool. Hollow grind, nice satin finish. The flats are they're kind of a really fine horizontal satin finish, and then the primary bevel here is a little more textured satin finish. So You do have a hollow grind back here, and then towards the tip, a little less aggressive hollow grind, so there's a little bit more meat or steel on the tip, and this back here is a little bit thinner. It's just ever so slight, as you can see the line right there that separates the two. Hopefully you can catch that in the light. But really, really nice grind, really clean, very symmetric. You know, quite, again, it's just really well done. It's quite a beautiful grind here. A really nice enhancement to the Remedy model. So anyways, you got some jimping here on the flipper tab, and on this particular one the blade stops are on, you know, in the blade itself, so there's not a standard blade hole. As you can see, the stop pins have been nestled into the blade. So yeah, really smooth, really well done. Kind of getting fingerprints on this thing, my apologies, but let's go to the handle now. So this one has a, I don't know, maybe a tree bark type finish. Now the handle finish was actually done by Liong Mah. So he had his hand on this knife, aside from the blade being ground by Shane. And then, interestingly enough, this project, I guess Liong has been talking to Shane for a couple years about doing a project, and they started on this run of 10 knives 9 months ago. So this knife represents 9 months of work to create just 10 knives, so definitely a lot of time, a lot of energy. The way that it came about, or the steps that they had to go through, was quite interesting as well. So let's just take a look at the rest here, and then I'll talk a little bit more about that. The pocket clip here was modified by Alan Folts. I believe he's Florida knife maker on Instagram. Very artistic maker. Certainly has a reputation for quality artistry. Some nice blue titanium standoffs. Ceramic bearings, ceramic detent, I do believe. Kind of open pillar construction. Yeah. So let's talk about how this one was built. So basically what happened was David Deng, who is the guy in charge at Reate Knives, he sent over essentially 10 knives that were incomplete, essentially. So, you know, the handles were formed and everything. It was a blank. It was a blade blank, or an unground knife blade, so it had the shape. And then, you know, the lock bar wasn't set. Nothing was done in that regard. And so what happened was, and the stop pins weren't even inserted into the blade yet either. So the blanks were sent to Shane, who, you know, hand ground 10 of these blanks, and then he sent them back to Liong Mah, and Liong had to find someone to essentially, you know, someone skilled enough to assemble the knife, put it together, and actually fit the stop pins here in the blade. So quite a, you know, quite a daunting task to, you know, have to jam these, you know, pieces, these metal rods into a blade that was already heat treated and ground, because the danger is you can crack it. So anyways, kind of a long, laborious process, but you know, the blades were ground, they were sent back. Alan Folts did the fitting, and he set the lock bar, he did the pocket clip, just made sure that everything was dialed in on the knife, and then Liong did the finish on the handle here. So yeah, really nice action, quite smooth. This one's not completely broken in yet, so centering is perfect. Lockup on this one a little bit late, but again, this was the first one done, so it's going to get a bit more tuning before it actually goes out. Liong was just kind enough to send this one to me early so I could do a video and share with you guys, as I was pestering him to check one out. So anyways, you know, is certainly a lot of people had their hands on this knife, a lot of work went into it, but in kind of this craze of, is it custom, is it production, this knife absolutely has a tremendous amount of handwork, and it takes a great platform, and again, it just makes it more interesting. So, you know, moving forward, Liong has other modified builds, mid-techs if you want to call them, planned with other custom makers as well. So he's got a lot of really cool projects in the works. He couldn't give me too much in terms of details and who's going to be doing the next run, but you know, something similar to this fashion, probably a 10 knife run. You know, really well-known maker doing either the modification on the knife or hand grinding the blade or something of that sort. Now, I don't recall if I mentioned this earlier, but Sibert only makes about 20 knives a year. So if you're wondering why you never see his knives and why they're so expensive and difficult to come across, the quality of his work certainly speaks for itself, but the availability is quite diminished. So to see him take part in a project like this is really really exciting. Now, what is this going to set you back? You're probably wondering. This one is going to run somewhere around $800. So pretty expensive knife, but if you have wanted to get your hands on any work from Shane Sibert, this may be your only shot for quite some time. So I know that Liong said he's already had guys reach out and ask to get one already, but I think he's going to try to make it fair when he offers them. I don't quite know the process. Again, look at him on Instagram if you want that info. But yeah, really cool knife. I hadn't handled the Remedy yet, but the ergos are really good. The size is actually quite nice. I do like this size of the knife here. My extra large hands, it fits perfect. The jimping is about medium traction here. Now, I don't know if any of the people who end up buying this are actually going to carry it. I did not pocket this knife in the week that I've had it, and I really, aside from cutting some paper, I didn't do anything else because it's, I'm not going to be responsible for scratching up this blade. Absolutely not. So, anyways, ooh, that was close. Yeah, really cool project. So anyways, I guess that's pretty much it. Try to give you guys as much background as I could on it. Told you all the people who were involved, the specs, we went over kind of the price point, where to get it, contact Liong Mah, and just be on the lookout for more interesting projects. There's definitely a lot going on in the knife world right now, and everyone is trying to up the ante to you know, attract attention and get people to buy their knives. And so this is, I think, a great example of, you know, the next step, certainly in the right direction. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I know a lot of you guys were interested in seeing it, so give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and you can follow me on Instagram as Epic Snuggle Bunny and also as a co-host on the Modern Neanderthal podcast. So more projects coming. Hopefully I'll get a couple more in front of my camera from Liong Mah, but you know, feel free to check this one out, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.